Hello and welcome to this week's Write Along with Me. And I love this week because it's kind of nerdy, but I also think it's really important and it's a bit of a reality check because it's easy to dream or aspire to write a book, but at some point the rubber has to meet the road and you have to make the time and the energy to write this book. So that's what we're going to think about this week. So we're going to talk about the what, the when, the where, and the how of writing a book. So what are you going to write? How many words can you write a day or a week? And this is a time that you've really got to get serious and be honest about the time that you've got, because we all have busy lives and life has a way of encroaching on writing. So can you write 500 words a day every day? I know when I sit down I can crank out 1,500 words, but I also know that I can't do that every day. So it's time to really think about what can you do. And then when are you going to do that? So for some of us, it might be a chunk of time every day. Some of us might be writing in 20-minute chunks before work, at lunchtime, after work. For some of you, it's going to be Saturday afternoon is your writing time. I know when I worked in the corporate world, I would get up early every day, but some days I would go to the gym, and on my non-gym days I would write before work, and then Wednesday nights and Sunday afternoons I would go to a local cafe to write, and that's how my first book got written. So what is realistic for you? And then where are you going to write? Are you going to write at home? Will you have the space and time to do that? Do you need to get out of the house and go to a cafe or the library or a friend's house or somewhere where you can get quiet time and write? Lots of writers have written great books in their cars, sitting in parking lots at their kids' sports games. Or one interview I heard recently was a writer who had a full-time job but would stop in a little parking lot on the way home from work for half an hour every day and write his novel there. So where are you going to write your book? And then how? Are you going to write by hand? Are you going to write in Word? Are you going to use something like Scrivener? Or do you have one of those nifty little word processing machines where you can only see your writing and no distractions? So thinking about how you're going to assemble your book before you start assembling it is going to help you get organized. So, and then the next thing that I like to think about is setting some kind of realistic deadline, and the realism part is always the difficult bit for me. So maybe you know that by the end of the year you'd like to have that messy first draft, or maybe you know that you can only write a certain number of days a week, so it's going to take you longer. But setting yourself boundaries for writing this first draft is going to really help you. So, and then the last thing I like to do is also something that I used to do in the corporate world, was a SWOT analysis, where you look at your strengths, your weakness, your opportunities, and your threats. So if you've written a book before, you might know what your strengths are, you might know what your weaknesses are, and that's something that you might need to work on for this book. And then opportunities. Perhaps you know you've got a week off where you could focus on your writing. As far as a threat, maybe you know you've got family coming for the holidays and you're going to have a big chunk of time where you're not going to be able to get any writing done. So it's really worth looking forward and thinking about the realities of getting this book down on paper. So let me know how you do. I will tell you what my plan's going to be later in the week. Good luck.